of us can tend to dwell on negative thoughts. But when you really can't move past those thoughts and it starts to interfere with your life, that's when it could be the sign of a mental health issue. So, this Wellness Wednesday, we are talking about rumination. It may be a term you've heard on social media or online. We're going to talk about how to spot it and what you can do about it. So, as always, Mary Jo's here to walk us through this. So, let's just start with the basic. What is rumination?
So it is a repetitive, intrusive thought and really pattern of thinking that you cannot seem to shake and you get stuck in.
You get stuck in it, but it's attached to worry and regret, you say?
Oftentimes what happens is that the rumination is either something that we regret, so an event that we're replaying, we're rehashing, we're re-interrogating ourselves, or it's something that we're worried about that we don't have a lot of control over, that our brain is trying to hold on to figure out.
Okay, so the fact that it can interfere with your functioning and it can cause distress, that separates it from you're just, worried about something, or, oh, I'm having this negative thought and I can't shake it. That makes it
Negative
different.
thinking happens to everybody, right? Worrying should happen for everybody.
Should. Yeah. If you have a conscience, it should. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. But when you cannot have any new experiences, when you can't take in new information, when your mood and your ability to navigate life is constantly coming back to something else, now we have something we really want to take a dive into.
Okay, and you say that this can start off actually in a helpful way with helpful reflections.
Absolutely.
But it can take a turn.
So our brain wants us to understand why. Our brain likes answers. Sometimes we don't have answers. So what happens is, your brain says, Mary Jo, why did you do that? You knew that that was going to result in a bad outcome. Okay, great. Reflection is great. Regret's great. What happens is that the brain doesn't get an answer and it keeps us stuck on this constant loop. Or our brain wants to understand we need to figure out what's going to happen next. And when we can't, sometimes the brain gets us stuck.
Are there examples of things that people ruminate on?
Rumination on regret is huge.
Okay.
And it can last decades. I've worked with folks that made a mistake 2 decades ago, that they attach all of their future disappointments to that one decision.
Oh, they pinpoint it to that moment.
That moment. If I would have done that thing differently.
Yeah. This destroyed
my life. This destroyed my entire existence. Or I see a lot of rumination in people having something upcoming that might be really a lack of control, and they can't stop trying to plan through it.
Okay, I want to get to signs and strategies, but before that, so when you talk about you have that moment in your life, and for some people it can ruin the rest of your life.
Yes.
Are people also using that to lash out at others, like, you did this in this moment that I regret in my life, and I'm going to hold you to it forever?
They want the magic wand of change, right? We don't have the time machine. When that happens, there's no amount of apologies that you can give yourself or that others can give you that's going to satisfy you. This is where people get stuck in the magic understanding why. Why did you do that? Why did you do that? Why did you do that? They're so stuck, they're ruminating over this thing that there is no magical answer to.
Okay, I get it now. All right, so let's talk about, and we can put it up on the screen, we have signs and strategies. So reflection, you say worry and reflection, those are moments. They don't have to last, right?
Right, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're just a point in time.
Okay, point in time. Recognizing when you are stuck and the thinking is not productive. And that's my thing, is like, how do you know if you're stuck in it?
So is what I'm doing right now holding me back? If I wasn't ruminating, how would my life be different? Oftentimes we realize that my life would actually be more enjoyable if I could move past this moment.
All right, and then the big thing we talk about all the time, boundaries with yourself to create healthy inner dialogue.
People forget that the most important boundaries you can have is with yourself. Telling yourself no, telling yourself to stop, telling yourself we're not going to do that. Those are boundaries that are going to be the most impactful.
I'll say sometimes boundaries with yourself aren't as fun, though, Mary.
No, they're
Jo.
not. They're not satisfying.
They're not satisfying. All right, and then you say challenge negative thinking with third-person question of validity.
So third-person question means if somebody else came to you with this scenario, would you shame and judge them, or would you encourage them and have compassion? if you would encourage them to have compassion in this third person objective scenario, then maybe that's what you should be saying in the mirror.
If you would give the advice to someone else, take your own advice.
Yes.
Yes. All right. Mary Jo Horton, everyone, from Memorial Health. I just love it when you stop by, Mary Jo.
I love being here.
Thank you. Thank you so much.